This is Political Core, the non-PC edition of The Aaron Cruz Show, where you decide the topics. The only place where you get the news you want from the people you trust. We are your balanced and accurate information resource.
Good evening and welcome to the Aaron Cruz Show, coming from Palm Springs, California. This is Political Core. I'm your hostess, Aaron Cruz. Thank you for joining me. Oh boy, today's been quite the day and this has been quite the week. So, tonight's show is going to be Harvey versus Harvey, distractions and delusions of the left. Don't fall for it. And yes, I gave this tonight's show a hashtag, priorities, tax reform, ACA. You betcha. It's a doozy. So if you have been paying attention at all to what the mainstream media has been saying, it blows my mind how much attention they're giving the mainstream media is giving to the topics of the day or the hour or the minute, as opposed to the long-term, long-standing issues which plague America in terms of policies that have been driven into us for the last 8 years, and yet we are here still trying to palate and weed through the junk of the minute. It just blows my mind. So what does that mean exactly when I say here, Harvey versus Harvey? Well, if you recall, last week, week before that, some weeks back, not even that long ago, we were hit. America was hit. Texas was hit with Hurricane Harvey. And the devastation was vast. It wasn't just Texas either that was hit. There were several states that were hit. Pretty predominant amount of damage that was done to many, many communities, families, thousands upon thousands of families impacted by this hurricane. And then, if that wasn't hard enough, difficult enough, we saw Texans pulling just so much need from other states, even boats coming in, boat after boat after boat coming in, even from California. I saw them to come and help and aid Texans in their need for rescue and supplies while covered underwater. Some communities just completely and entirely devastated. But with the resolve, with the complete persistence of a Texan, of an American, of Americans, actually, we came together and we pushed through. And even still, they're going to recover for probably the next couple of years here. It's going to take time. It's just insurmountable, the devastation and heartache. But again, like I said, we see Americans come together. We see Texans rise up. We see people saying, we're going to do this. We're going to fight. Texas strong, baby, right? And not just Texas, but, the other neighboring states as well. Then we see another hurricane come, and then we see Irma. And, it's so sad that, storm after storm has come. And even now we're seeing Nate. It came in, Hurricane Nate, if you haven't been paying attention, because the other Harvey, the sexual harasser, the now I have to say, the accused rapist, the accused sexual harasser who's paid off people, yes, so that maybe that's not an admission of guilt, that's just a silencer, and he's an accused rapist. We can't say he hasn't been convicted of a crime, and in America, it's innocent until proven guilty. However, he has been put up as kind of a human sacrifice, if you will, and not saying it's right or wrong, just saying that he's been put up and he's now, being called out for many, 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 many abuses of women. The unfortunate thing, though, is, however, this saga, which has carried over decades with Mr. Harvey, has overshadowed Harvey, the hurricane, Irma, which has completely devastated Puerto Rico, and Nate, who is currently gone from what a Cat 2 storm, it comes in and then goes out, comes in. It's really, these areas in our nation are being hit. Now, we have been hit by storm after storm after storm before. This is nothing new, but the magnitude and the level of devastation is large. And the reason is because of urbanization, coastal regions, which are more populated. People desire to see the sunsets on the horizon of the beautiful seascape. I get that, but it's devastating what's happened because of these hurricanes. And then to see Mr. Harvey come in and just sweep that away with a swoop of a thumb. So now, and I say thumb because it's almost like click, 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 the next story, the next story, the next story. I mean, I'm not sure if you follow me very long. You need to go back and look. I did a story, actually, and perhaps I also called out on social media, different agencies, or should I say news media outlets, I shouldn't say agencies, different news media outlets who basically came across, while there was supposedly an active shooter on one of the military bases, this minor was kind of taking cover and saying that he was shopping with his parents or his or her parents, and news agencies literally were contacting this person saying, can you call us? Can you do an on the phone interview? Look, there's a shooter going on. There's somebody shooting or supposedly shooting, and this person's trying to take cover, and you want them to blow their cover to talk to you for the next story. I mean, what it is the click, click, click. The next click is the next top story, which is the next dollar bill for these big media outlets. They don't have newspapers anymore, folks. It used to be, and the older folks here know, the stories were slow to come out. Information was verified. I guess more often than not, it was verified information that was printed, definitely edited and sent for review, and then put to the press. And then you receive word the next day when you woke up, maybe what had happened the day before, or maybe a couple of days prior. Headline news. We don't really have that anymore. I mean, in terms of newspapers, it's the next click, the next advertisement they can feed you that's going to pay their bills because they're hurting. They're hurting. All right? And so that's where they come from. They come from the next click, the next hot topic, and guess who is that next hot topic? And one of them is Harvey, Mr. Harvey. So I was contacted yesterday morning, and I was just getting up, hadn't done anything, and my booking agent called me and said, well, you know what, we have somebody who wants you to go on and talk about this topic, and this topic. And I said, oh gosh, when? It was that morning, right? So I had an hour before I had to be on. Okay, let's get ready. Let's go on. And I thought, you know what? I almost didn't. But, I thought, I really want to talk about this topic. And one of the reasons why I almost didn't was because it was HLN, and they work with CNN and what have you. The affiliation there is vast and deep. And you know how I feel about that. But you also, if you've known me and followed me, and you're one of my friends who I hold dear, patriots, you and me are united in that we have to reach out. We have to communicate with more than our groups, because people are lost. They're not hearing, the whole story. They're hearing a completely manipulated and butchered perspective of the truth. Something that's used to manipulate the minds of man and sway in the direction of the next click, 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 and voter base. It's all about the votes. It's all about the money, and it's all about, whatever the media and politicians can get out of it, yes? So, unfortunately, not all of them are bought, not all the media is bought, but, in any case, let's rewind. So I was invited to come on, and I was invited to talk about Harvey. And I was, Harvey, the rapist, now accused rapist. Also, the Dove ad, and the VP leaving the NFL game. Okay, and I really felt it was important at least to give a conservative perspective. And I think that what's important to recognize here is that just because someone says something is so doesn't mean it is. And just because what they share sounds right, sounds, well-founded, doesn't mean that that's the case. And I hope you're following me here. Right now we're talking about the show I was on yesterday in the morning. It was basically, I was on with Mike and Chuck with HLN. And I was floored. The reason why I was floored was because out of 8 years, and now we're at month 9 of President Trump. 8 years, much of the conservative base, independent base, libertarian base, we protested. We protested peacefully. We marched on Washington. We united behind certain causes to come out for freedom and liberties, all right? Peacefully, okay? And here we have now the position where we have a president who's promoting the United States, who's saying, you know what, we're not going to be the last 8 years and go around the world apologizing to other nations for what we've done or what we haven't done or what we've done right or wrong or what have you. Because that's what we had under Obama. It was like the apology tour of 2008 through 2016. We don't have that space anymore. Now we're in a position where our president says, united we stand, basically. We are America first, citizens first, USA, made in America, built in America, by American, you name it. And that is considered negative. Okay? What country, what nation does not promote their own interests of their own people? None. I don't know of another nation which would say, okay, let's put everybody first. I mean, for 8 years of Obama, we were lagging in our military defense. Our military was fighting hard. Our people were working harder than ever because some of their resources were stripped and other things had happened which caused them to be in a bad space. Our nation was basically apologizing from the head source, not necessarily from the people, for their actions of, the last 200 years, it seems. And now we're in that position of saying, America first, America strong. We've got this. We're going to work together, lift each other up. We've struggled financially over the last 8 years. That's no longer. We're going to put our own interests first. Yeah, no. When there's a problem on the airplane and the oxygen mask falls, put yours on first, then your child. It is what it is. If you're not there to do any action, if you're not, if we as American citizens are not there to lift ourselves up, we are not there to build our communities up, we are not there to help our communities stay strong, our homes strong, be it the family unit to the economic resources that we have and working and providing, other nations won't be strong. I'm going to tell you, because economically it's a flow through. Other nations do well because we feed them. And not saying that we are their only source, but for many nations we are. We're the cash cow, baby. And unfortunately, those who we're the cash cow for were suffering over the last period of time. And I mean, in terms of our economics and in terms of our resources and working as far as the citizenry is concerned. Now, Obama basically fed all of our enemies. He fed them. He took money from the taxpayers and basically gave Iran money. He gave lots of money, okay, to different people in Syria. You name it. He's handed out, apologized. So there's no surprise that he's gone. That Americans basically said, we want Trump. We're going to bring this guy in. We're going to make him president. And we want America to be great and strong and prosper. Not out of a need to be nationalist. Not out of the need to be kind of what essentially it was insinuated that I was this type of nationalist, pro-America, not pro-freedom person because I was just pushing our own agenda. America first, I'm so proud. This is what I said, basically. I was proud of Vice President Pence for standing up and walking out of the football game, the 49ers game. That's basically what I said. Football players kneeled, they disrespected the flag, and he decided to leave. Now, essentially I was told America is great because we can protest. It's been a long-standing thing that we can protest. Well, look, the fact of the matter is this, is when you're on the job, you're there to work. And you are there, especially as football players, as entertainers in Hollywood and in other capacities like that, game players, ball players, you're there to entertain. We don't, as American citizens, we don't want to see your politics on the field. We want to see you play. We want to see you perform. We want to have a good time. We want to be there with family. And I was basically called out and chastised for being proud of our country, proud of our flag, and proud of the vice president for walking out when there was a display of politics on our American National Football League field. And that, to me, I was told it was so sad that I would say what I said. What is sad to me is that people who think that way think that because I am pro-America, because I am pro-flag, pro-freedom for somebody to walk out of a football game because they don't agree, that is wrong, is just, one, it's hypocritical, but two, that is sad. It's so sad that the left is deluded to the point where they're pushing propaganda that basically says, look, we can disagree with you and protest, but should you protest and walk out? How dare you? And one of the angles was, well, Pence shouldn't have gone because he spent taxpayer money to go and he knew what was going to happen. Okay, so what you're telling me is, at a fundamental level, because I know something's not to go right and I know something's going to be a certain way, that I shouldn't go, that I shouldn't participate and see something that I might want to see, like a football game or a baseball game or a movie or whatever it is, because there might be something there that not offends me, but that isn't in line with America and my allegiance as a citizen of the United States of America. So what you're telling me is that I shouldn't go. Well, then why protest at all? Essentially what you're saying is I am, a fascist and saying, you're going to walk out, blah, 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 blah. Yet you yourselves are being intimidating. You're combative in the sense you're forcing ideas and objectives on others, and doing it in a way that's entirely inappropriate and justifying it as an entire platform. That to me was upsetting and disturbing on so many levels, because you can't speak freedom and step on somebody else's freedom. That is it. Freedom isn't stepping on someone else's freedom. Freedom is allowing somebody to say, I'm not okay with this. I'm going to get up and I'm going to leave. You know what? If that's what you believe, then go. And far be it from anybody else to judge you for that. So you report it. You say, gosh, he walked out. He didn't agree with it. Not 2 days of diatribe about it. And I don't know that I was as adamant when I was on with HLN. But I will say that I was trying to hear people out, hear the perspective out that they had on. I'm open to understanding what other people have to say. But the fact of the matter is this, is your freedom does not come, okay? Your freedom does not come at the expense of my freedom, no. And especially on the job. So that to me was really at a fundamental level spoke about kind of what we have here about Harvey even. Because Harvey, what we have, and I'm talking about the media mogul who pushed himself on others, what we have now are people who have come out. Gwyneth Paltrow, Judd. I mean, it's vast, the names that are coming out. Now, alleged rapes and what have you. I mean, even on that interview this morning, the guest that they have on there, or had on there, basically said these people come out in droves because, they feel protected. They feel like, okay, if one person came out, we're going to stand together and unite against. Look, bravery isn't coming out as a group. Bravery is coming out when nobody else is going to stand next to you and really talking about what's going on. And sure, you may get shot down. Sure, you may stand up against the grain. Sure, you may be in a position of being subjected to sort of scrutiny. But bravery is standing alone when nobody is standing next to you. And these individuals who are coming out against Harvey, I now have to actually ask myself, what is the motivation? Mike Pence, VP Pence, came out and he said, okay, I'm going to walk out of this game. Me and President Trump, we had an agreement, I'm going to walk out of this game. These women, okay, Harvey's it's come out and come to light that he's done these things, these atrocities, supposedly and allegedly, to these women. And they've come up against him. And I just wonder what they benefit. VP Pence was accused of using this whole ordeal as a publicity stunt. I have to ask myself, and I will tell you, I am the first person to not shun a victim when they have to come forward and say, this happened to me. It's traumatizing, somebody who's been through something so debilitating and harmful to their mind and their person, their body, their livelihoods affected day to day because of a predator of sorts. And I'm not shunning these people or downing them for coming out and speaking out if these alleged accusations are true. I just have to question the legitimacy of so many high-level stars saying this man did XYZ. I would like to call to the table this man to stand trial for his actions. Because if he indeed did take part in these sorts of harassment charges and other things, I mean, there has to be evidence. People can't just blindly accuse someone of doing something and nothing taking place in terms of actions against the predator. And some might say, well, is that really the truth? Should that really be the case? Isn't it enough that he was fired from his job? No. He is a criminal. And, or allegedly a criminal. He's done and taken part in actions which violate federal and state laws, probably multiple. And I would call that the FBI look into his actions. And the reason why I say this is because no one is above the law. And as I pointed out this morning, Hillary Clinton herself, she is not above the law. And some of the double standard thinking that is taking place in America, drawing away the attention from major disasters which are affecting thousands upon thousands and thousands upon thousands of families, are actions which probably may go undisputed or even unchecked and what have you. And these are people like what I said this morning, Hillary Clinton. And I didn't state this portion because there wasn't enough time, but Hillary Clinton literally tore down the accusers of Bill Clinton. All right, and we then found out he was taking part in acts. He was actually convicted by one group of the Congress who basically is impeached, or voted for impeachment, whatever you want to call it. There's so many shades of gray around this, but he essentially was found guilty. And what came of it? So it's no shock that a person of power like Harvey gets away with pretty much murder of the soul and body, because these people are still alive. The people who are victims, be it the individuals who are coming forward now, or maybe individuals who are unnamed, who are a small piece of the pie, who actually were harm was taken against them. It's just, he'll probably get away with it. Is my understanding. He also settled on several cases, and of course, it's probably to just quiet the victims down, and be it right, wrong, or indifferent. That's just, I understand that happens, and it's unfortunate. But I want to look for a second at Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton protected her husband. And she's no better than her husband for doing what she did. She allowed for him to continue on and take the actions he did against individuals and cause harm. It's just atrocious. And she wonders why she didn't get elected for president. Well, because people don't trust her. They saw what her husband did, and they don't trust her. And that's just flat and simple. But people like her husband, who did what he did, people like Harvey, who have a lot of money and influence, do get away with a lot. And it's not right. They are no more above the law than you or I. Because I'm going to tell you, if you got in trouble, if you were caught sexually harassing someone, your company wouldn't buy somebody else off. They would say, see ya, you're going to jail. You're losing your job, you're losing your life. As you know it. And unfortunately, it's the victims who have to keep moving on. It's the victims who go day by day. Part of their soul has died because they've been abused and taken advantage of, and it's so unfortunate. They also grow, and I'm really hoping that some of the victims who were hurt by Harvey, Mr. Harvey, who's now kind of, I'm trying to turn a new leaf, find some justice, and that the stars who are coming forward, there is some legitimacy put to their words, because you can't just crucify somebody based on allegations. You either press charges, you speak out and you press charges, especially if you know your accuser, or something. But I would say that it was more likely that these stars are coming out for PR attention. It's not about awareness. It's not about the real victims. It's not about any of that. I would have to say that it's probably about PR, more so than Vice President Pence, who went to the game, and he was now accused of pulling a PR stunt. Where is the decency? You can't say that Vice President Pence is pulling a PR stunt and not say that these women who are just coming out aren't trying to pull some sort of PR stunt. Okay? It's headline news. They're making money. They're getting, airtime. And I don't know how much will come from it. Hopefully something does come from it. So I'm going to skip from here a little bit to Harvey. I don't know if any of you are aware, and this may be a reach, but Harvey also holds a CBE title. And it's an honorary CBE title, the Queen of England, from the Queen of England. I'll say that again. Commander of the British Empire. It's an honorary title. I also would like to call for the Queen of England to reconsider that title she has given and placed upon Harvey. The reason being is no man, if found guilty, if guilty of such atrocities, if he admits to improprieties of this nature, if he admits that he has a major lack in character and moral standard, that she recognize this and pull his title. And maybe that's inappropriate for me to say. All right, I just want to say that our military, our government has demoted people okay, for much less. Okay, and so I'm hoping that she makes a stand for the British and what they will and will not tolerate. Unfortunately, Harvey over here is pretty much just in a kangaroo court of sorts. I haven't seen anything come through about actual charges laid on him for his violations of federal and state laws, but I would like to see that. And why do I say Harvey versus Harvey? Okay, because they're fooling you, they're distracting you. And one of the reasons why I say they're distracting you is Mr. Harvey has committed these atrocities over a period of time. There have been allegations, there have been crucifixions in terms of his press and light brought to the issue, settled so people don't talk. Many stars have known about him for a long time. Why now? Why now? When we look at Texas and the devastation from Harvey, the hurricane, we look at the mass devastation of Puerto Rico and the needs there, and Trump pouring out support federally, militarily, resources to these different regions in various ways via FEMA and otherwise. We look at that. We look at the other hurricanes coming through. Now we see with California and the wildfires and Trump declaring emergency status. You have to wonder, with all of the devastation, why now? Well, and I might get flack for this, but it's Alinsky tactics. It's Alinsky tactics. Let's just keep everybody so busy, so churning, so riled up, and so in their minds, and so in the issues, the little topical issues. Not saying that Harvey and Harvey aren't an issue, but let's just say that Mr. Harvey has been long time standing. There's no reason why he needs to be just bumped up right now. Yes, I'll tell you, it's coming to your end. We're going to be coming to a point where we're going to, I know President Trump lifted kind of the debt ceiling of sorts because due to the hurricane and devastation, and kind of has an open blank checkbook, but we have a lot on the table: tax reform, healthcare reform initiatives, okay, and we have to get our priorities straight. We have DACA, we have also the parental program that needs to be dealt with the DACA and their parents, who that's a big one too, and nobody's talking about that. We have the border that needs enforced. We have a lot of different major issues that are facing the country, especially with our rebuild of these different regions, territories, and Texas and whatnot. Okay? The distraction is this: keep them so busy that we can't keep the conversation going about the topics that matter. And I'm hoping that we can draw, you and me, as a nation, communities, we can draw together to help press for more conversation. I know we have a lot going on in our homes, in our communities, and affected. Many of us are affected, just family members are affected, and it's placed burdens. But I hope we can stay focused towards tax reform. Hope we can stay focused towards passing, it's going to take 60 votes now, passing healthcare reform. Okay? We have to. We can't allow the next year to go by with Trump not making progress in what he promised Americans. It's Congress' responsibility to take care of what their constituents demand. Okay? So it's up to you and me to contact and reach out to Congress to put the pressure on and say, look, I know we have these issues going on, but let's not muddy the fields. We need to take care of them. So I implore you, even though we have a lot going on in our communities, that we keep the pressure on healthcare reform. We keep the pressure on tax reform. We keep the pressure on enforcing immigration. Now, DACA needs to die. We don't need more dependence here. You're either, a law-abiding citizen law-abiding person, you come in the front door or you stay out of my house. That's how I feel about it. If somebody brought you into my house, we need to send you back. It's unfortunate. I'll say it again, but come back the right way. We can put those individuals back in a place where they either, if they weren't persecuted, they can go back home and come in the right way. They may have not known any other home, but that doesn't mean that this is their home nation. And of course, like I said, as I've said before in my other shows, there are individuals who do need a type of refugee or asylum status. I get that. But everyone else, they need to come in the right way. Especially if they're adults. They should know right and wrong. They should want, if they really truly love America, and even especially if they take pride in their home nation or they take pride in whatever nation their family comes from, they should want to build that nation up. They should want, if they come, if they want to be in America, they should want to be lawful and come in the right way. Yes? That's how I see it. Now, I implore you again, this is the last time I'm going to say it as we start to wrap up our show. I implore you, please reach out to your members of Congress. Please let them know that we haven't given up on health care reform. We haven't forgotten about tax reform. We have not forgotten about DACA being dead in the water. We have to put America first. It's not about nationalism. It's not about, wanting to shut out others or being protectivists, okay, or regressivists. It's about standing for the rule of law, believing and following through with what you believe in. I mean, our foundational values are such that how could you be any other way except for want to, do things right. Do things right and lawfully. Yes? So let's make sure and get the conversation going about how we feel as people, individuals, as citizens, as taxpaying citizens, to our Congress people. So I'm going to give you the phone number here. The phone number to Congress is 202-224-3121. That's 202-224-3121. You can also look up your Congress, person through House.gov or Senate.gov. You can also see the most up-to-date information on what's going on in the White House, whitehouse.gov. Some people don't like to go on there, but the thing is you can read the executive orders for yourself. You can read the transcriptions of speeches yourself. Get the information for your own mind, through your own eyes, and empower yourself. Don't listen to the next clip on the media. I mean, I was on there this morning and I was just befuddled that I was knocked down, basically saying that I wasn't a proponent of freedom. Me, not a proponent of freedom. Oh, goodness. So, please, make sure you also connect with us online, Political Core. Always, we want to grow together, find common solutions, find common ground. I'll always answer any questions I can. Do not hesitate to reach out ever, okay? We are in this together. Thank you for joining me, Erin Cruz, on Political Core of the Erin Cruz Show. Join me again Thursday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Queen of Politics, where we have a bit more fun while we talk the issues, as always, with the information you can use to make positive change in your community, in your state, and in the nation. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a blessed evening, all. God bless you, and God bless America.
To hear more and to learn more on how you can make an impact or about Political Core and the Erin Cruz Show, visit us online at erincruz.com. That's erincruz.com. Thank you for joining us, and see you at the same time and the same place next week.